I'm excited about our class tomorrow, the Synoptic Gospels, section 3, and we're doing 29 through 42. So these will be our 14 sections for Thursday. We're still in the section that's only covered in John, and so you'll have to decide how deep in this the gap that John is filling in, how deep that gap goes. When we read this story of the woman at the well, make sure you read the parallel story in the Old Testament about Dinah and the Shechemites. The John's story, in many ways, is the exact opposite of what happens in the Dinah story in Genesis. It's happening at the same place, so you'll want to look at that. The teaching in the synagogue and the casting out of the demoniac in the synagogue, it's very interesting that the first demon that Jesus drives out of a person is a demon-possessed person in the synagogue. You may want to look up BiblePlaces.com and look at the pictures of Capernaum. We know exactly where this is and exactly where the synagogue is. We even think we know where Peter's house is, so you can look at all that. In the miraculous catch of fish, in our synopsis, there'll be a similar miracle that happens in John 21. The John 21 miracle is at the very end of Jesus' ministry, and obviously the one in Luke is at the very start. So make sure you read those carefully, because you'll have to decide, is this the same event or is this two similar events happening at different times? And that's going to affect how you think about John filling in the gap. Interesting feature about the cleansing of the leper. This comes in Matthew after the Sermon on the Mount. Some think that the Sermon on the Mount kind of shows a person their sin, and in many ways they're like the leper who comes to Jesus. Notice that all three of the synoptics have this. You probably want to read the Old Testament background in Leviticus 13 and 14 to get a nice background on that story. But I think we're going to have a great time looking at these Pericopes. As always, bring your questions. We'll go down lots of rabbit trails, and I'll look forward to talking with you tomorrow.